Welcome to Tech Startup Stories, hosted by Natalie Binns. This is the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the B2B startup world.
Hi, I'm Natalie Binns, and after many years as a marketing leader in the B2B SaaS industry, I set up Hey Gabby to support startups and scale-ups with their go-to-market and growth needs. I work with so many great founders, and that's led me to want to hear their stories and share them with others. And that's why I set up this podcast. So let's get into this week's podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast. And it is a great guest for you today. I'm speaking with Sameer Narkar from Konnect Insights. Welcome to the show, Sameer.
Hey, Natalie, thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks for joining. You guys have been around a long time. This is something that, has been in the market a while. Tell us a little bit more about Konnect Insights.
Yeah, I mean, we started about, say, 10 years back. In 2016, we were, of course, experimenting with few products. Before that, started as a services company, and then this product idea came in, and we worked on it, realized that we are definitely not the first of those on building social listening platforms or so. We realized that lot many products in the market. But back then also we had this idea of making a product where it is completely omni-channel, one product for every single customer touch point. And that was our vision. So we started, had our MVP, went out to the agencies to show our product. They loved our solution. So our first few customers were definitely the digital marketing agencies, because having a product which was meant for enterprise customers, it is difficult to get entry when you don't have any customers for that matter. If you're dealing in SMBs, then you can obviously have those meetings done. But in our case, it was meant for enterprise customers. So we reached via the agency network, and we are very thankful for all those agency partners who supported us in the initial days. Um, and they took us to the brands, and that's where we had some of the largest telecom companies or largest financial institutions, using our solution. Early days, in 2017, 18 or so, the product, just went on to become an omni-channel solution that it is right now. Today, we connect with a lot of CCaaS platforms or CRMs, make sure that Connect Insights is a unified CX hub for everything that the brand wants to learn from their customers, whether it is public data, private data, we crawl everything. So it's very different what it is today as a product. But back then, of course, early days, you have your own struggles and, getting the product right fit for the market. We went through all that, journey that every startup goes through.
It seems like it. And then obviously you kind of were hit by, like everybody else, the pandemic. What was the impact of the pandemic on your business?
Well, when pandemic hit, nobody knew that we will be, working from home for about, say, 2 years or so. Everybody thought that it is a matter of, say, 2 months, and then we'll be back in office. So nobody was prepared per se. And back then we were a company of not more than, I would say, 20 people. In fact, less than that. Today we are about 140, people. So it was easy for us to manage those many people working from home. We were not ready. We did not have laptops for everyone. It was desktop computers. We bought laptops, arranged few things, got our VPN sorted, and things like that. So early days it was definitely a struggle, but then pandemic helped us to get some international customers as well. Otherwise, back then, if you have to get someone to sign up, and we started from Middle East after India. Uh, Ideally, they would expect us to be there in their office, talk about on-prem solutions. Cloud wasn't, something that was loved by people in certain parts of the world. So, in a sense, pandemic helped us. I wouldn't say pandemic was totally, tough for every product out there. The SaaS and the cloud products definitely benefited from.
Absolutely. And you've seen some huge growth in that time, though. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Uh, so back then, most of our customers were from India. I'm talking about 2019, 2020 or so. Our first few customers from the international market came during pandemic. Uh, by then, we were about 4 years into our business since the time we got our first few customers. And these customers came from different parts of the world, mainly Middle East and Southeast Asia. And we closed those accounts. They loved our solution. We were also experimenting with our app marketplace back then, because a SaaS product, should be very good as a standalone solution, but it also is very important that it talks to other platforms and connects with various solutions. So even when we named our product as Konnect Insights, we had this idea that we are not going to create a platform that is only going to be standalone, but it's going to connect with a lot of other platforms. And we had that vision of building that app marketplace, which actually got started during the pandemic times. We took that initiative of building an open API app marketplace. Today, in fact, we have every action that you take on our platform has an API webhook to it. So we can really go ahead with and connect with platforms like Zapier. We're also trying to get ourselves inside N10. So these massive developments that we did in our product happened during the pandemic time. Apart from getting business outside India, we also got our platform to evolve in leaps and bounds during the pandemic time. So it was definitely a tough time for everyone. In fact, personally speaking, most people had their own losses. Personally, I also had it, but given the fact that it actually was a time when most cloud solutions or SaaS platforms evolved, pandemic in a sense was not all that bad for us.
Mm. I think it's been a mixed story for everybody, hasn't it? But I'm glad that you managed to get some positives out of it. Let's go way back to when you first started out. What were you doing before Connect Insights?
I started my career as a software programmer. That's what most founders are. So I was a techie doing coding on various kind of platforms. I happen to be an engineer. No prizes for guessing an Indian software guy doing coming from engineering background. So very typical in that sense. But I got to work on mostly financial domain. So my first job was in derivatives and equities market. I loved the domain expertise that I got as well working on that. Uh, After that, I worked in a company that was working for insurance domain, majorly for UK, called as Accord Insurance and Accord Markets. Later on, I worked in mutual funds industry. So uh, it was not by choice, but I always got to work in the finance domain. And then around 2014, 2015, I had some idea about the product that we built. It was definitely not Connect Insight or something else, but very close to what we offer now in terms of analytics. And we started a services company because obviously, if you want to build a product, you need money. So that money comes from building software services. So we bootstrapped that ways till the time uh, around 2018, 19 or so, we stopped our services business and purely focused on the product. That was the plan. Not to continue with the services business, but to rather build a product and let the product make money for ourselves. So that was the idea. So we were not short of money in that sense, but a platform like us requires a lot of server space. You need to buy data. So all that stuff definitely was a huge investment that we initially supported ourselves with this services business, and thereon from the customer money, which was recurring every year as a SaaS company. We're still bootstrapped. Of course, we might raise our first round very shortly, but yeah, happy to be bootstrapped and hitting those numbers.
Okay, there's so much for me to ask you now. I feel like you definitely made my job a lot easier. So you've mentioned, the kind of early days and starting the services business. I know you're the founder and CEO. Who did you start the business with? How many people? What kind of functions did everyone bring?
Uh, Great. So when I started, it was uh, I had that idea. I initially worked on it. Uh, it took some efforts to convince a couple of my colleagues to join me. Uh, they said, "Well, we'll help you with whatever you want to build. It sounds fantastic. Let's code on it." But they never left the job, and it was not going anywhere. So I said, unless I resign and start, nobody is going to really take that step. So I resigned, and I thought they'll follow, but that didn't happen. I was alone in one small office that we took, and I was coding all day, getting bored. But that was life for about 4 or 5 months. After that, one of my colleague, Nitin, he joined me. So it was me and Nitin, and then we hired a couple of interns, and their name is Hitesh and Prashant. Uh, and now they are the co-founders in the company. So the first four people are co-founders, all techies. I took the step of handling everything other than non-tech, like marketing and sales, and everything that a founder needs to do. So that's how the journey has been. And over the years, we made sure that we learn every new technology that is required. We did a lot of classes on AWS. Today we learn a lot on AI. So it's the learning is like when you start, of course you have those skills, but as you grow, you need to learn continuously, and that's what we've been doing. So one of those interns that I'm talking about, he's an AI architect today. Uh, Someone else handles our big data entire architecture, and they apparently joined as 20-year-old interns. Yeah, but that's been our journey. Now there are folks who are experienced who join our company, but it has been a fantastic journey. Uh, for last 10 years, we have seen so many new tech things coming. We learned blockchain on our own. We learned big data on our own. Today, we are doing everything that's required to build your AI infra. We work on our homegrown AI. We don't use just the APIs to make calls and build our platform. We have built it the right way, because tomorrow when you reach out to the brands whom we work with, they'll obviously talk about security, and you just cannot make calls to OpenAI and get your stuff done. So we have done it right way, and I think that's in our DNA, that let the new tech stuff come in. We will learn and keep growing.
I love that. I love that. And you talked about the fact you were bootstrapped to start with. You set up the services business first, and now you're kind of looking to go to your next step and go for funding. What does that look like for you? Are you looking for individual investors? Would you go with your typical VC? What would be the right fit for Konnect Insights?
Yeah, I mean, we are raising to the tune of, if I can share some numbers, to about say $10 million or so. We are connected with a few VCs. This over the years, I was, of course, I built my network. So that's happening, and our ARR also looks good. We are around 8 to 9 billion ARR right now. So the numbers are working perfectly fit. In fact, I heard this from someone in our VC community, that at the stage where we are, most founders have at least raised two rounds of funding, if not three. Uh, so for me, it will be seed funding. For them, it will be Series A. Whatever label you want to put it. I just want to hit those numbers with minimum dilution and get the money, because the goal is not to raise funds. The goal is to actually reach out to the customers. Today, we believe that if we have about, say, 400 enterprise customers, there is every reason we'll have 4,000. It's just a matter of people knowing us and, exploring our platform. Because these 400 customers that we talk about, they come from, they're very big enterprises, very big airlines, biggest telecom companies, and biggest banking customers, biggest retail customers that you can think of worldwide. They use our solution. So there is every reason that we can add one more zero to our list of customers and get going. So my goal is never to be to look at targets with the revenue targets. I'll keep it very simple. We had that journey from say first 5 customers to 50 customers, and now to almost 500 customers. So let's keep adding that many customers, then just reach out to as many countries as we are today. We have customers in about 30 plus countries. Every reason we can reach out to customers in about 100 countries. And as long as you're enjoying that process and enjoying that journey, you don't focus so much on the money part. You're just excited with the fact that people are loving your solution, and that's more than getting the valuations and those kind of jargons in our industry.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think, with your experience, in the number of customers that you've got, and you've obviously made some great progress. So good luck to you on that funding raise. What would you say you sort of mentioned about the fact that you've managed to get 400 enterprise customers, and obviously that's going to scale, and you need the funding to kind of help you do that. What have been your biggest challenges overall as a business so far?
Challenges, they're different at different stages. Today, we might be facing challenges with hiring the best talent in sales, maybe. Uh, Tomorrow that may not be a problem. Tomorrow, you know, getting from, say, this stage to some higher stage could be a problem. So problems, challenges are different at different stages. Back then, when we started, I would have sleepless nights because I do not have enough infra and servers to have my data. Today that is not the challenge because ask me for more number of servers, and we can do that. We recently got a lot of NVIDIA servers for our AI infra as well. So that's not a challenge, but that was a challenge about 4 or 5 years back. Today, I think when it comes to hiring, a lot of my time goes in choosing the right talent, and it's very disappointing if you don't get the right people, because obviously as a bootstrap company you do not have the luxury of, say, hiring 10 people and getting right with four, and maybe six are not doing well. You don't have that luxury as a bootstrap company. Once we are funded, obviously if we need 5 people, we'll hire 10 and see which 5 of them are working well. So those are the challenges. Definitely, I see. I spend a lot of time in interviews, and I definitely don't think I'm the best of those guys who can hire the best talent. I do a lot of mistakes there. So, anyways, yeah, I think as you grow, different kinds of challenges keep coming. We work very closely with partners and different CCaaS platforms who also do sales for us. Building that partner network was something that we did right about 3 4 years back. So that's working well. And then going forward, maybe hiring country heads is what the challenge that we look at. So yeah, I mean, I can think of those as the challenges right now that we are facing, but we'll overcome them.
Absolutely. And go back to, you started out as a company focused inwardly in in India, and then branched out, and you're obviously in 30 countries plus now. How did you make the transition from focusing purely on India to then going to other countries, and what was your priority in terms of reaching those other countries?
Yeah. See, when you reach out to different countries, you realize the way it works there is different from what you're used to. Uh, Over here, there's a very good connect between agencies and the brands. So if you reach out to the agencies, obviously they'll connect to the brands. But when we reached out to Middle East or Southeast Asia, it was more of a contact center integration. So our product was a function of marketing in India. Uh, where marketing team would own it, and the marketing team will work along with the customer experience team, and that customer experience team, the support function is different, whereas social care is different. That's how it really worked in India. So reach out to the marketing folks, and then your product will get sold. Whereas in some parts of the world, especially in the Middle East, where we really do well, this is a function of a contact center. So what we did was we obviously connected with a lot of partners who sell contact center solutions like your Cisco's and Avayas and Nice and Genesis. So we built the network around there. So instead of agency network, the contact center partners really worked well for us. In Southeast Asia, it's a combination of agencies plus some partners of CRM, mainly Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. So that is how that market works. Whereas in Latin, it is again the agencies for marketing and contact centers for customer care. So we work in Brazil and Mexico. So over there, it really works like that. In UK, it has been so far the business has been with the CCAS partners directly. Uh, so different geographies, and it works in different manner. Uh, at the same time, the product is something that they really love it. And it's the use case is almost the same. It's for social media care. At many times, the entire omni-channel CX Connect Insights connects with your contact centers and CRMs, and the use case is the same. But how the entry, the way you will get an entry into the market really differs. So you need to learn very fast, what will work in that market. Obviously, no one is going to tell you, or for that matter, the way their success story was won't be yours. So you really have to experiment, check it out, how it works. Once you know that this is the method in that region, then expand with your partners. You need to have a very strong partner network either ways, whether it's an agency partners, the partners of CRM companies, or the partners of CCAS. Your network has to be around partners, right? So that's how we've been growing, and then once we break even in that region with some 4 or 5 customers, we then have our country head, work from that region, drive the partners into business. So that's what we've been doing for last, say, 4 or 5 years, and we'll continue to work on that formula as long as it works. If it needs to be pivoted, we have to pivot and make sure that we still continue to do business.
Indeed. And with everything that you've learned in the time that you've been running the business, Sameer, if you could go back to the beginning, right in the beginning when you had the initial idea, which isn't the idea that you have now, what would you change? What would you kind of tell your 2014 self to help you, maybe shape the business in a different way? Would you change anything at all?
Yeah, well, in the hindsight, I know a lot many things. Of course, with the constraints of uh, money that you have, you could still do very little. But obviously, we took a lot of time to actually hit the international market, which is something that we should have done much before. We would have still succeeded, but then this is a mistake, or rather, maybe not a mistake, but what would you say? uh, if you have to get if you have to get 100% perfect, then you always think that if you hit the market with uh, not a finished product, then you might not get a second chance. This happens. Even back in India, when we reached out to our potential customers, our product was not a finished product, so we took about a year and a half to get our first customer. Uh, in that duration, I must have met at least 20, 25 potential customers, and they were not ready to give us another chance. Eventually, we got it. We called, we went to their office. We said, "Please look at us from a fresh lenses. Try our product," and it worked. But when we were hitting the international market, we were worried, that we should not hit unless we kind of reach this milestone. Uh, but I should have done that much earlier. If I go back, I might go and hit the international market maybe around 2018, 2019 instead of 2020 during COVID time.
Interesting. What advice would you give other aspiring founders or people that are sort of in their early days starting out?
Yeah. So in fact, about a couple of months back, I started something called as Connect with Sameer, where I'm guiding the startup founders in Mumbai, India. And I had at least 3 interactions. Someone who has started about a year back or so, how to work on the product, and then things like that. But things have changed also right now. I mean, I meet a lot of founders who are not techies but building a tech product, and it's possible. It's very much possible with AI today. So more than giving ideas or advice, I'm learning from them the other way around. That still back then, if you have to build a product, you need to be a techie. But in today's day and age, you can still have an idea and have your MVP product ready and build things around it. So things are changing, but my advice is, you know uh, you can only scale with a great product. You might hit a million mark or so, just because the founders are running that business, and founders can do anything. They can make things happen. If a product needs sudden change, you'll still do it. If a customer asks for customizations, you'll still get it done, and you can still hit that a million, 2 million mark. Uh, but if a product has to scale and a company has to scale, then it has to go beyond the founders and the sales guys should sell it, and it should scale very fast from say 2 million to 10 million range. So the way you do business in your early days will be much different than how things will happen subsequently, because you'll not be in control of many things. So plan for that, even if you are not thinking that far, and work really hard on product. It's only when the product is great, only when you hit excellence with the product, is when your marketing ideas and your GTM strategies and your sales strategies and your PR is going to work. Uh, Only when the product is up to the mark. And at the same time, you obviously won't be unique in any sense. There would be competition. There'll be people doing better work than you as a product. But at least reach the stage where you're on par with most products out there, and then continue to innovate, and bring new stuff in your product, and keep things very simple. Think of your customers, and things will follow. How can you give the best that you can give to your customers? If that is a part of your DNA, then most things will follow. And the rest is outside your control. Markets change. You might be at the right place at the right time, so luck plays a part to it. But whatever things are in your control, as far as building a product, and giving the excellent service to the customers, at least do that part. Uh, you know, 200%.
Love it. I really like that you're building a network of co-founders and founders in your local area, and sharing ideas and coming together. That's what this community is all about.
Yeah.
Sameer, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you so much for your time. It's great to hear your story, and I hope to speak to you again in the future to see, how Konnect Insights have got on with your funding raise, and watching you go bigger and better.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here on your channel. Thank you so much. Take care.
That's it for this episode of Tech Startup Stories. Have a story you'd like us to share, or a topic you'd want to cover? Reach out and we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.